G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the south side of the map, playing as the English, representing Izzy Esports, it's MarineLord. And on the north side of the map in the color yellow, playing as the French, representing Team GP, it's Leenock. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 in this series between these two titans. We're here on the caster mode clash, preparing for the Red Bull Wallalol. This is exactly what it's going to look like when we actually do get there. For anybody who's wondering, these events, or this event, is played on tournament rules. That means that every single series between these two players are played with civilizations that you would expect to see at the Red Bull Wallalol Legacy. And that's exactly why we've done it, because we want to sort of emulate that and get ready to see exactly what we're going to be witnessing. So, I guess without further ado, let's talk a little bit about a matchup that we have become intimately familiar with. The English versus the French, a matchup that goes back as long as time goes back itself. These two guys have been fighting each other. But, of course, when it comes to Age of Empires 4, it's a little bit different. I've talked about it before. I'll talk about it a million times more. Don Hardy always favored this matchup for the English. And I think we've seen it change since those days, all the way back in Genesis. People used to think it was a French-favored matchup. I mean, back in those days, every matchup was a French-favored matchup. But today, we come bearing different thoughts, different mindsets, and for me, I would prefer to be the English here. Now, that's on the condition that we make it to the late game. In the event that you make it to the late game, I'm a big fan of the English in this position. In the early game, though, and especially for the early stages, you know, the first 15, the first 20, 25 minutes, it's always going to look good, especially for the French player. So the question is going to be, what does Leenock look to do here? Does he look to play 1 TC? Does he look to play 2 TC? Does he look to go for fast castle? He's got a lot of options available to him. And the question is going to be about what MarineLord does. Oh, excuse me. It's going to be about what MarineLord does. I just had a little bit of like a involuntary burp, kind of. It wasn't really a burp, though. It was like a spasm of some sort. But anyway, the question's going to be, what does MarineLord look to do? Does he look to go for a second town center in the second age and then add the third town center in by the King's Palace? I would suspect that's probably going to be the play. To me, that seems like the smartest play. And MarineLord, one of the smartest players when it comes to Age of Empires 4. We do see the wheelbarrow now going to be coming through for MarineLord as well. So looking to play it more economically, and this could just be a fast castle that he's teeing up for here. So typically, if you're going to be playing into that second town center, you ideally want to get the second town center up as quickly as possible. You want to avoid going for things like farms. You want to avoid going for things like the mill or even like the wheelbarrow. But we do see that he is still collecting gold out here. But that would be my expectation, that he would avoid that. And might just go directly into a fast castle. Now, the issue that he's going to have out here is the gold vein. It's right on the front. So, by having a gold in the front compared to a gold in the back like this, you're going to be a lot more susceptible to those raids, to those attacks. And if Leenock decides to bring a knight in, to bring 2 or 3 archers, maybe even bring a villager and drop down an outpost on this gold, where do you go from there? Now, you can always sneak a villager or 2 down to the south, maybe 5 villagers if you want. But there's always the boar that can get pulled and start harassing you. Can always go up towards the north side, but once again, you're going to expose yourself to a French enemy who loves to hit you with those annoying little timing pushes. And if Leenock plays 1 base, which I know Leenock loves to do, there could be battering rams in the mix that come down and really hit out your outpost. So I think MarineLord's got to be careful here in his decision-making process. But it looks like Leenock now can be bringing attention back towards the main base as the council hall does go up. School of Cavalry on the other side of the map will ride on board with Leenock and see how he's doing. And very interesting position on this School of Cavalry. What does this School of Cavalry mean, and why is it here? So, he's using the gold villagers specifically to make this School of Cavalry. Typically, you'd see the School of Cavalry right next to the town center. This one's back a little bit further. And typically, I wouldn't think this is a big issue, except for the fact that he's got... Oh, he's already got wheelbarrow in. Never mind then. The wheelbarrow's already in, so he's probably just going to be playing Horseman Archer then. And it could be off the 1 base, but the fact that he's using the 4 vills, and you can see he's actually rallied them back onto gold, so I really don't know what he's going for here. I'm calling it now. I think it's going to be a 1 base, full economic tech. He's going to go for all the eco techs. He's going to max out on eco techs, and just try and play 1 base. I don't think he's going to take a second town center, but we'll see. You know, sometimes I put these silly things out there, and the question as to whether it hits or not is a different matter. But we already see MarineLord looking to potentially bring out something a bit exciting. Now, this could be one of two things. With a single villager, leads me to believe it could just be for arrow slits. And he might be going for some sort of timing push with his villagers. And look at that, Leenock immediately. Oh, God, you hate to see it. Drongo in absolute shambles right now. Well, that's how you know that it's not pre-watched. You know, if I pre-watched these games and, like, miraculously predicted what was going to happen, well, then this wouldn't happen, would it? Because within 30 seconds of me saying it, Leenock begins moving out villagers in a rare motion for the Korean and begins thinking a bit more about a second town center. We can see he's stacking up the wood already, opting for an archery range as well. The first of the horsemen out on the field now. He's going to be heading down towards this mining camp on the stone outcropping. Second Age's reach, and Marine Lord immediately puts a spearman into the queue. Keep in mind that the English have got hardened spearmen already researched because they get spearmen available to them in the Second Age. They can't make spearmen in the Dark Age. It's not available at all. Marine Lord now adding in 3 more villagers, or rather 3 villagers onto the stone. Probably spotting out the transfer of villagers on the stone for Leenock, and then doing the 2 and 2 and going, well, hold on a minute. Well, if you're moving villagers to stone, you're going for a second TC. I might change this from arrow slits to a town center as well. Looks like the horseman's going to come in. A little bit of a mistake there by Marine Lord, drawing his units away up towards the north side. Perhaps, who knows whether that's a mistake. Maybe, is he just going to continue going? You know what? I don't even think that's a mistake. He's just looking to apply pressure. Horseman going to be coming back in. He's got to be careful here with these villagers. He's going to continue delaying the town center. We can hear the town center firing off, and we've got the scout under attack by those archers. Villagers finally realizing that they're being attacked. And now everybody needs to come in and jump in the town center so you can... There we go. Good night, sweet prince. Rest in peace. You know, I didn't know what the math was. I just knew that a horseman that close to an English town center is not going to survive. You ain't getting out of that alive. There could be 2 units in that town center. That thing is still going to Gatling gun you down. Don't mess with English town centers, all right? And this is part of the reason why knights are so damn good, because not only do the knights have that extra ranged armor, but they also kill villagers a lot more quickly. So, you know, to be advocate, I would advocate in this matchup to go for horsemen, to go for archers, but to be raiding with knights. And I know that sounds complicated, but second town center coming forward. I thought this was an English town center at first. I'm like, what is Marine Lord doing? No, it is an English town center, but yeah, Leenock with some very interesting base design. Let's just say that much. He had the option for a really good town center back here. I don't know why he didn't put this one in. Stone, gold, berries, and boar, all, like, it is 100% like the best town center on this map. So I'm not sure why he's gone for this one. I guess it's a little bit more forward. It brings the archers forward as well to take out the deer. I guess it's a decent spot in that regard. It also gives you some pretty good map pressure, but up against the English, you got to be so careful. You take one bad fight against the English player, and you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. Town center coming up, though. Marine Lord going to be well and truly aware of it, as we do see the second town center going to be coming up for him as well on this hunt down on the south side. Only made a single farm. Interesting to see that Marine Lord only went for that single farm, and just to supplement that food income a little bit. But now the horseman moving out. Archers a little bit in tow. Spearman coming down, looking to try and get a skewer. Not going to be able to find it today. He's trying his best just to draw these units back so his archers can get some pot shots on it. But he's actually going to be able to find the longbow, so the spearman going to have to turn around. Does a little bit of blocking. Pretty decent job there. He's taken out the first of the spearmen. Longbow also going to be losing its life as well. So Leenock picking up a nice little early trade right there. He'll be very happy with that one. Second town center up for Leenock. Second town center about to be up for Marine Lord on the south side. He's got a couple of villagers here collecting food. Now finally realizes and has to pull them off, and we see more villagers moving down to the south side as he's got the gold vein that he's going to be looking to move on to. So I guess doesn't want to really expose to his enemy or provide that information to his enemy that, hey, I'm gathering gold and it's on the front side, because the scout could very easily just come in. We take a look and see from the perspective of Leenock, and that scout is ready hovering and could indeed see that, and then those villagers are also going to be subject to that potential raid. So instead just comes down here a little bit more of a defensive positioning, and definitely something I would agree more with. Longbow's helping out. We've seen both players actually killing their deer hunts with their ranged units. The archers in the north, the longbow's in the south, and now the archer numbers are starting to stack up a little bit. Outposts coming up as well for Leenock, looking to defend this position, and we see the scouts going to get called out to each other as Leenock spots out Marine Lord and Marine Lord spots out Leenock. Villagers not on the gold, and this is very smart, actually. Very, very smart, because the reality is that Marine Lord has 11 villagers on gold, and Leenock doesn't know. He's just looking at that like, oh, okay, there's a big feudal attack coming in. Where is it? All right, there's a couple units up here. He's going to know exactly that he's going to know 100% that there is a town center down here, just simply because all the deer are dead. But the question is, what else is going on down here? Wall's starting to come up for Marine Lord, and he's really looking to bunker down, whatever you want to do with getting down. Maybe he's boogieing down. Whatever he's doing, he's putting himself in a nice little bunker, though. Let's just put it that way. towards the north. We'll check in with... oh, there we go. Let's check in that way. We'll check in with Leenock. He's stacking up quite a bit of wood. Could think about a third town center. And honestly, if I'm playing this matchup as the French, I'd probably be going for a third town center. I know it sounds wild, but I reckon third town center is 100% the play. Third TC into Royal Institute, into Night Spam. That's the way to do it, baby. That is the beauty. The beautiful play. It looks like the boar still yet to be taken, and by MarineLorD's, I mean, MarineLorD's got a great little spot down here for the town center. It's not going to be as schnuck as this one. Schnuck, I don't know if that's the right word, and not as, it's not going to be as what's the word I'm looking for? It's cozy. Let's go with that. Cozy. King's Palace now coming up for MarineLord. Beautiful little spot back here as well, between the wood line, between the stone outcropping, and of course, the huntable boar. Ready to be hunted, ready to be eaten. And MarineLord in a very solid position. I'm loving this for MarineLord. Now, we do see that... Oh, I think... is that just out of vision? I think that's just out of vision. The walls coming up, though, are going to prevent the units from linking up back with their home base. And we see more units now coming in. It's going to be the archers trickling in for Leenock, but he's also aging up, or about to be aging up behind this. Spearmen making their way through, but he's gone a little bit too far away from the longbows. And now coming through, it looks like MarineLord going to be losing out on all of these units. Beautiful little micro here from Leenock, not taking any fights, and the archers, they're just looking to come through and dish out the damage. Now he gets it. Archers more than capable of cleaning this up, and the scout now going to be moving through. Beautiful play right there from Leenock, but MarineLord about to age up. Look at this. He now just spots the villagers, and he's like, oh my god, I should have gone for this. Oh, I should have gone for this. Oh my god, it was so close. Oh, damn, dude. I was so close. I mean, he speaks Korean, so his internal monologue is a different language, but villagers going to jump inside right as the enemy forces get there. The timing, unfortunately, for Leenock is perfect for MarineLord. And now the town centers begin firing down upon this position, and unfortunately for Leenock, all of this attack is for nothing. He manages to clean... Like, I feel like right now it was like kind of like when you sacrifice the rook and then the queen opens up. That's to me what happened. It was very much a gambit, and for Leenock it didn't pay off. For MarineLord it definitely did. Because had MarineLord taken the position, you know, back over here and looked to fight towards the TC, then the villagers get exposed. As soon as the villagers get exposed, he just absolutely annihilates them. Beautiful stuff right there from MarineLord. We're going to call that's the French Gambit right there. That's the French Gambit. I'm coming up with these names now for the plays that the Age of Empires 4 players are using. And that's going to be the French Gambit right there, that we say the French Gambit, not because he's playing French, but rather because he's a French man. Or a Frenchman is probably the better way to say it. Not because he's a French man. I mean, if it was a French woman, we'd still probably call it the French Gambit. What happened there? Did you guys see that? I felt like, did the colors change? What happened? I felt like something changed on my screen. I'm going to have to go back and review the logs and see what happened there, but something on my screen just changed dramatically. Guildhall going up for Leenock now. He's going to be keeping it on food, actually. Out of all the resources, he opts for food. I guess it's not a terrible resource to go for, especially at a time like this, where he wants to start thinking about transitioning over to farms. But, oh my god, I just realized Leenock hasn't even scouted above his base. He's got no idea what the resources are up there. He's got so many good resources as well. He's got a whole bunch of berries, a whole bunch more berries, a boar, big stone, big gold. Get up there, Leenock. Go on, get on up there, Leenock. Night now coming out for him as well. Scout behind the enemy lines. That's going to be able to scout out, I guess, all the movements here. Now, obviously, MarineLord not going to be happy with that. Baits the scout in, and the scout does go down, losing its life. The longer this game goes on, the better it looks for MarineLord. We can see the villager count for Leenock is slightly better than MarineLord, but MarineLord will catch him. He's 3 TCs versus 2.2 TCs. So definitely a significant advantage to MarineLord at the moment. We'll double check in with his opponent and see exactly where Leenock's up to, because he's got enough villagers on stone here that he could be thinking about adding in a third TC. I don't know where these villagers are moving out towards the mill here on the hunt. Honestly, I'd just be drop the third TC, Leenock. Drop it, Leenock. It's not too late. You can still drop a third town center. I'll let you. We'll switch it over now to the resources per minute so you guys can get a better idea of what their incomes are at. Farms now coming up for Leenock, not moving into any cute little farm not overlays. What are they called? Little farm positions. You know what they call the the Spanish farmers. That's a joke, guys. That's a joke. I'm not going to coin that one. Yeah, MarineLord looking very solid in this game at this point. Villager count at the moment relatively even. MarineLord is catching up, and you will expect him to catch up and eventually surpass Leenock, probably around the 80 villager mark. Barracks now going to be coming down for him. Look at all these barracks, actually. 4 barracks getting dropped down. So what direction is he going? Is it just going to be a heavy spearman direction? If so, I agree with that completely. Because I feel like the win condition here for Leenock was to go for knights in the castle age. And the fact that he's gone for the guild hall, to me, it seems counterproductive. Because you don't want to take it late with the French against the English. You don't want to go late against the English. Hey! Oi! Oi, come on! Why? Why, though? Why? Unnecessary violence, Leenock. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, to me, the guild hall feels a little bit counterintuitive unless you're going for what Leenock's doing right now, which is a keep drop. And he could potentially look at go for an additional red palace drop with this many villagers. Where is he going with this keep? The villagers came forward. Okay, he's just going on the sacred site. So, if anything, a little bit more defensive. Look how close this is to the main town center. Main town center is right there. You can see it at the top. Through the UI, past the UI. Longbow now coming out, looking to find a way through. Not going to be able to find it though. Could be a way over here. Nothing for the moment. Spearman numbers definitely looking healthy. For Marine Lord, he's up to 11 spearmen. He's got 4 more in queue with those barracks continuing to come up. Look at the production. Veteran spearmen also going to be coming in here. Marine Lord looking very solid. Look at the population difference as well for him. 35 military pop, 20 pop up. Relic starting to get picked up as well. Oh my lord! The relic got sniped away. Look how close they were. Barely a second in it. Barely an inch in it. Leenock now dropping down some archery ranges, realizing we're going to need to add archers, boys and girls and MPs. We're going to need to add archers. Archers going to be an important part of this composition. And probably the right choice. But for me, the question is, what is he going to be doing with the guild hall? So typically what you would see players do is, what if he cashes out now it is the right thing to do. Actually, I'd probably even avoid doing it. Maybe you want to just kind of save it to the late game, but I guess you don't want to go too fast. Monk gets picked off right as the sacred site was stepped on. Unfortunate timing there. Marine Lord continuing to look solid. His position improving ever more. And remember, once this gets to the late game, it's not going to be about, it's not going to be about the French versus the English and the French aren't too bad. No, the French are terrible. We often talk about this, the concept of who's better in the late game. And English, by far, get an S+ tier. Maybe not an S+ tier, S tier. For the best late game civilization in the game, full stop. I don't think there's any real discussion about that. The French, if they can beat you to the late game, they're a better late game civilization. But if they can't beat you to the late game, then it doesn't matter. Because in the late game, it's just not a competent late game civilization. The mechanics that they have working for them, unfortunately, you've got to really outplay your enemy to actually make it work with the French. Scout now coming through. Fortunately, Leenock keeping a scout with his army, so he's going to get that emergency call as well. One of the advantages that you get to playing the English, part of the reason why they're such a great civilization for newer players, is because if you're just playing your own game, and you hear that call out from the town center, that bell going off, then you know that there's enemy units nearby. And the same token goes for scouts. So scouts do a call out. They've got a radius around them. So they've got their line of sight radius, which probably extends. So that sound right there means that there's enemies nearby. And that only the English get that through their network of castles bonus. So with the scouts, they have a line of sight that extends out to here, but they've got a call range, which is about here, about 70% of their line of sight. And if any unit comes inside that call range, they will call out. They will scream out, like that, or Strelbora, something like that. They will call it out, a voice line, so that you will be triggered and like, oh, quickly, there's units somewhere. I need to deal with that. So by keeping the scout with your army, you'll be making sure that you're never taken by surprise. Trebuchet now making its way out onto the battlefield. Looks like the shot did hit. If you've watched Age of Noob's most recent video where he answered the question, the Trebuchet never actually misses a keep. Never misses a keep. Never misses a stable. It can miss a 2-tile or a 1-tile or a half-tile unit, but it will not miss a keep. It will not miss an archery range. That is 100% accuracy. But it does have the potential to miss an outpost. I think it's got about a 90% hit rate on outposts. So there you go. All right, second Trebuchet now coming out. Second siege workshop also getting thrown down. So Marine Lord sort of reading the temperature of the room here and saying, well, if I'm going trebuchets, my enemy's probably going to be making springles. And that's exactly what he's doing. Springles are getting added in now on the side of Leenock. So 100% the right decision by him to add in the second siege workshop and begin making more springles. Super smart move here from him. You can see a second springled in queue. A little bit of a spearman raid on the backside. Plenty of vills here to try and tank it up. Archer's going to be able to clean it up completely. Springwood moving out on the front line. Archer's going to be here to answer the questions. Hey, mate. Yeah, this pool's closed. Beautiful little positioning here from MarineLord. He's holding on strong. Infantry mass is decent, up to 179 population. 111 villagers, a 10 difference at the moment, but the knight number's looking very healthy for Leenock. Wouldn't you just love to see Royal Bloodlines coming out now instead of that stupid other landmark, Guildhall? Cinematic mode now coming in for you guys as the spearmen look to try and hold in on the front. The longbow's going to be teeing off towards the back, and the Springwood still remains strong, taking out the first of the trebuchet. The keep is going to be burning down. The keep goes down. Leenock not paying attention, but look at the cleanup from Leenock. He's just pushed into the base of the enemy right now, and he's looking to try and take control of the production. He's going to fall back away from this position for the moment, but can you imagine how many knights would have survived that had he just had Royal Bloodlines? Royal Bloodlines may have made a huge difference there, but now we see those spearmen making their way back. Looks like Leenock going to be forced away from this position with MarineLord holding on a little bit longer and able to overwhelm the enemy position. Springwood firing, chilling out on the backside. And all of the units going to get taken out here from Leenock. We'll bring that UI back in so we can see the real difference here as the scores start separating. MarineLord up about 800. Leenock not looking the strongest. Villager count for MarineLord up 16 at the moment, and the military count double. The keep's gone down. He's going to be able to start hitting that production and start dishing out some damage. You can see there's plenty of knights back here, but once again, he's got the Guildhall with 2,500 food in it, but you just got to ask that question, you know, to what end? What are you going to do with it? What's the point? Why? What does it do? Like, sure, it's great in the late game, but you don't want to play the late game against the English. It's a counterintuitive decision. You got to be so careful about making these decisions because it can ruin your game. It can quite literally take this game away from you. Had he had Royal Bloodlines there, it would have been a different story, I assure you. But the spearman numbers now looking very solid for MarineLord. Up to 23 spearmen. He's going to be able to hold down on this east side, and once again, all the units getting lit up. As that network of castles, network of citadels in just yet? No, it's not. Network of castles going to be able to provide it. Nice little micro coming in from Leenock. We once again enter into the cinematic mode as he tries to come around on the edge of the map here, or rather the edge of the fight. And begins working on these longbows. He's doing a decent job of kiting back. Springwood placement going to be helping out. Spearman running through as well, looking to try and reinforce his position. He manages to hold on. And Leenock, again, going to be coming up empty-handed as MarineLord's mass maintains its integrity. 1,600 points of difference between these two guys. Leenock falling further and further behind, but despite the fact that we are not really seeing any shift in this battle, any shift in these numbers, he's up double the population when it comes to the military, but you got to remember there are knights in the mix here as well, so they do cost a little bit more, and they only cost the one population, so it's not really that relevant, though we do take a look at the army value, and it is significantly greater. Men-at-Arms now moving around for MarineLord. Things are starting to get really shaken up for him. These guys have got their armor chat in. Knights moving over to try and deal with this, but spearmen are out here on this flank as well. They're going to be able to deal with this plentifully. Plentifully? I don't know if that's the right term. It's probably not. I do apologize to all my English fans out there. And I'm not just talking about the civilization. I'm talking about the language, baby. Villagers having to fall back off the wood line. He's going to have to head towards the other side of the map. This map is shut down. And now the units start massing back towards the French base. Upgrades have all come through. You can see +2, +2, +2, +2. Leenock definitely looking solid with his upgrades. MarineLord still yet to pick up wedge rivets. Actually, that's insulated helm, never mind. He has wedge rivets. Villagers once again going to get picked up here. Leenock got to be careful. He's down 30 villagers already. It could get worse. It's going to get worse before it gets better. That's definitely the matter of the fact. But now the men-at-arms going to be able to come in through on the front line. No spearmen here mean that they're going to get absolutely crushed by the knights. And indeed, they do get destroyed. Beautiful little charges coming in right there. Top side of the map. He's forcing back these units. Forcing back these villagers. And now splitting them open. He begins pushing through on the front side. Mangadel firing off. Wingguard Palace coming through. MarineLord, do me right. Do me a solid. Thank you. Thank the Lord. MarineLord knows his facts. He knows his stuff. You put the Wingguard Palace in the back of the base. Do not put this guy in the middle. Like, oh, well, it makes my trebuchets a little bit closer to the enemy. No, don't do it. Wingguard Palace as far to the back of the enemy, to your base as possible. At the point that this Wingguard Palace is under attack, it's highly likely you're already dead. It's highly likely you've already lost the game. So that is a great little spot there. But with that, Imperial Age now going to be coming through from MarineLord. He's 200 out of 200. MarineLord reaches the Imperial Age, and we can expect to start seeing the Wingguard army as well as elite upgrades coming through for him. Looks like we've got elite spearmen. We've got network of citadels. And just a casual arrow slit says we've got a new age beginning for Leenock as well. Age 4 landmark. Where is it going to be? What's it going to be? I didn't even see it. There it is. It's the Red Palace. It's on my screen in the middle. I was looking at the minimap trying to find it. So going with the defensive Red Palace for Leenock. And it definitely feels like... Yeah, it doesn't feel good right now. Leenock slowly and steadily getting put into the back. He did actually take out the food. We can see he's sitting on 3.7k food. But Guildhall going to be going down. And once again, it comes down to that curious landmark positioning. Landmark positioning is definitely something that you wouldn't think would be that relevant, that important. You wouldn't think you'd be able to stuff it up that much, but it really happens a lot. And especially at the pro level, it happens a huge amount. So I guess it's really important to just consider where your landmarks are placed, because just because you place it here because your villagers might be in the area, well, it can come back to bite you. And indeed, it looks to be biting Leenock at this point in time, though. To be honest, I don't think it would matter. I don't think there's any real way Leenock gets back into this base unless he's able to pull off a beastie and start raiding villagers left, right, center. 135 villagers at the moment for MarineLord. Let's see if he can pull that number down. Enclosures coming through right now. Beautiful upgrade. Let there be no question as to the status of MarineLorD's enclosures. Landmark about to go down. Sacred Site neutralized in the north. We can see that MarineLorD's also bringing out a monk here to capture this one up. Villagers, got to be careful. Elite Royal Knights has come through. Still yet to see Royal Bloodlines out for these guys, but it is in the queue at the moment, as well as Elite Archers. So MarineLord definitely going to be up against that elite army. Veteran Longbows up towards the north, going to get shut down. Leenock just running units around in all corners of the map, but MarineLord doing a great job just to keep them alive. He's kept all of the villagers alive. He's only lost 7 villagers this game. So unfortunately for Leenock, it's just been a very solid game from him. But now we're going to start seeing that number rising up to 8. He brings back the reinforcement. There's plenty of spears here to chase these around. Look at the spearmen just coming in. All of the gold trickling in as well. More units across the middle of the map, but he's also got that tower of, or that citadel, the network of castles slowly building up across the map. Let's have a look at the line of sight from MarineLord, and it is beautiful. It is beautiful. He literally covers the entire map with that network of citadels. Beautiful stuff there. Sacred Site now captured. A single Sacred Site remains. It's going to be that third one over on the eastern flank. Plenty of units here chasing away these knights. And that's definitely a solid investment there for Leenock. We hear a cannon emplacement has come through on the outpost. Going to be providing that 100% AoE to these, or against these units. Trying to get through the arrow slits. He gets it through right at the end, and then the outpost dies. Rest in peace, little guy. Siege Workshop, archery range thrown down. Keep in mind the Red Palace does act as a keep, so you do get that reduced cost on your units. Reduces them down by 25%, I want to say. Maybe 20%, and then it gets down to 25% later on after you get the upgrade. There is an upgrade that you can get, but... oh, we can see it. Enlistment incentives. Springwood now. Gonna be... Do we have roller shutter triggers through? Roller shutter triggers is not through just yet. More spearman raids. Leenock refusing to wall on this east side. He walled on the north side, and there's been no attacks up here. So Leenock, you gotta be heeding the warnings and just... Well, you gotta be doing 2 and 2, right? If you walled off on one side and he didn't attack there, try walling off on both sides. Attacks now coming down in the enemy base. Nice little raids through, but unfortunately he's hitting spearmen at the moment. Leenock, unfortunately, not having a solid day here. MarineLord doing a great job just ripping him apart, though. What elite upgrades have we got coming through? Elite army tactics. We've got lumber preservation also coming through. Elite spearmen. Veteran longbows. Looks like all of the cavalry's been cleaned up. MarineLord up 2.4k score. The position that he's got is wonderful, but hold on a minute. Elite Royal Knights. These guys have got their Royal Bloodline upgrade. Don't ever count these guys out. Elite Archers also coming through. Leenock trying to defend this position. Archers looking to try and take down the villagers on the gold mine. It's not looking pretty for Leenock. More villagers falling down for him. 25 villager difference at the moment. It's just been maintained the majority of this game. Spearmen going to be coming through. They've got their elite upgrade. Elite army tactics is through as well. These guys are just dishing out huge amounts of damage here. An extra 28 against cavalry. And now the longbows got to be going down. He's the only veteran, but that's okay. He's not making longbows in the late game. He's just making spearmen. He's literally just making spearmen and men-at-arms. That is it. Spearmen, men-at-arms going to be all he needs. And now it really begins to push. Archers here on the front line. Got to be careful. Spearmen, men-at-arms moving through. Elite army tactics just came in. And now he's going to just be able to stampede over the top of this. At the same time, up towards the north, we see that double combination coming through for Leenock. Sacred Site victory is being approached. 10 minutes to go on that bad boy. Get your timers out. You know what? You don't even need your timer anymore. You can keep it up on the screen. Put your pocket watches away, fellas. It is time to witness Leenock as he tries to hold on in this position. We get the 14th notification that a sacred victory is happening. And we hear the cannon emplacement firing down on the units in the middle. If it fires down on these archers, could be a bad outcome. Could be a bad outcome. Let's see. I don't think he can reach, actually. Siege works coming in. MarineLord trying his best to push and finish with just only a handful of units here. Doing a pretty decent job, though. Forcing these units back. It's the men-at-arms together with the longbows that are doing so much work. And now coming in, the Trebuchet going to be able to unpack and begin attacking the outpost. We enter into the cinematic mode to witness these guys battle it out in the middle of the map here. Leenock is doing a pretty decent job, but the men-at-arms are very, very solid and hard to deal with. Keep in mind, these guys have got their armor cladding in, which gives them that extra armor. So in the late game, they've got up to a 10 melee, 10 ranged armor. He's trying his best to pick up the spears, but the spears are just so effective. It really becomes a burden on the French player to pick up these spearmen, and we can see now that Leenock is just getting rampaged over the enemy up to a 4K score difference at this point. Hand Cannoneers coming through. That's going to be the Wingard Rangers, I suspect, coming through, and good game gets called. Leenock taps out, and MarineLord 1-0s in this game. Very well played there by MarineLord in this first game of the series. Beautiful stuff there. Fellas, if you've enjoyed this casted game, make sure you check out the next one. It's going to be coming up right away.